Today I'm here with Joe O'Sullivan, who has served over in Iraq. Thank you for coming by today, Joe.
Thanks, no problem.
Now, you are a Marine reservist, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, tell me why you decided to join the Marines, because I understand it wasn't like just at a high school thing, right?
No, I joined the Marines because there was a war going on, and I felt like I needed to do something special for my country.
And you were in college when you decided to join?
I was. I decided to leave college and join the Marines.
What year were you in college when you decided to leave and then join the Marines?
It was about the end of my sophomore year.
The end of your sophomore year, you decided that instead of finishing out the other 2 years, you would do something for your country, join the Marines, and then what happened after you joined the Marines?
Well, I joined the Marines as a reservist, so I went to boot camp and whatnot, did all the training for about 6 months, then joined the workforce for a little while being a reservist, and then I got the call to active duty, spent a couple months here, and then got deployed.
How did it make you feel to get that call?
I was actually excited. I wanted to. That's the reason I joined, was to go to Iraq, so I was all about it.
Now, you said you were excited about going to Iraq. Were you scared at all?
Some people were scared. I don't feel like I was all that scared. I was more, I don't know, happy to go to do something that the reason that I joined the Marines for.
When you went over to Iraq, what was like the first thing that you remember from like stepping off the plane? What's your first memory?
My first memory was it was in the middle of the night, so we were all wearing all of our protective equipment and whatnot. So it was kind of scary. You're like, man, where am I at in the middle of nowhere? Little did I realize we're right in the middle of a secured base and no threat whatsoever.
Now, you mentioned earlier that before you went over, you were definitely a supporter of the war. Once you arrived in Iraq, did your opinion of the war change at all?
No, it hadn't changed at all. It actually, from time to time, made me feel like I definitely should be there.
So now that you're back in the States, and you told me that you were over there for 6 months, now that you're back in the States, has your opinion changed?
No, it hasn't changed at all. I still feel the same way.
That's good. That's good. Now, let's go back and talk about your time in Iraq. What is one thing that sticks out in your mind the most about being over there?
The most, to be honest with you, is just the time I spent with my other fellow Marines, kind of hanging out, being buddies. You know, I remember firefights, but it really wasn't the scariest part or the most memorable part of it. Now,
why do you support the war?
Well, I support the war because I was there firsthand and I saw the good that we've been doing over there. And from the time I was there, I saw a lot of violence in the first couple months to actually no violence by the last couple months. So what we're doing there is definitely making an impact.
What are some things that the United States military as well as the Marines are accomplishing while they're over there?
Well, we're kind of we're driving out a lot of terrorists. Some people say there's no terrorists there, but I promise you there's terrorists there. And they've been pushed out, and people are starting to take hold and be responsible for their own security through their own police officers.
Did you get to work firsthand with any of the Iraqi military or the Iraqi police officers or anything like that?
Not a ton, but from time to time we did actually have them out with us. They would go in and talk to the locals for us as well.
How did you find the Iraqi people perceived you?
Some people were annoyed because we were interfering with their everyday lives, while other people, you know, they give us thumbs up and high fives and stuff like that. But some people, obviously, if you're annoying them every day, they get a little bothered by it.
So do you think that, obviously, it's a very controversial subject.
Right.
And obviously, there are a million different opinions and a million different viewpoints. So yours supports the war. Do you think a lot of veterans also have the same opinion as you, or do you think a lot of the other veterans have their opinions changed after they go over there?
From everyone I know, all I can do is speak for people I know. Everybody still supports it, and we were happy to go there, and a lot of my buddies are like, all right, let's go back, let's do it again.
Because you said it was like an adventure camp,
yeah,
right?
I mean, really, sometimes, yeah.
Now, how did it feel to see protesters while you were over there, or do they try to kind of seclude you from?
Well, where we were at, we didn't see any protests at all because we didn't have access to a whole lot of media. But coming back, when I see people protesting like funerals of Marines and things like that, that stuff really irks me, makes me pretty mad.
Do you think that should be outlawed or a law against that?
Yeah, it definitely should be outlawed because it's wrong that somebody protests a funeral for somebody who fought for their country.
When you were over in Iraq, did you see anyone die or did anyone close to you die?
We had one guy in our platoon get wounded, and other than that, we did see an IED take out a couple of our other Marines.
Did that scare you?
Obviously, yeah, it was a pretty stressful situation when it happened, but didn't really deter me from the mission at hand.
And what was your job when you were over there?
We were last Marines. We were called DSU-3. Last Marines to be on river boats up and down the Euphrates River. I was personally a machine gunner on that boat.
That's a neat job. That's a neat
Yeah.
job. So now that you're back here, we're going to come back to the States again, and you see people protesting. Is there anything you want to tell them, or is there anything that you want to tell the supporters of the war?
I just think that we need to take care of business and continue to fight the war. Obviously, we need to get out of it one day, but immediate drawback would definitely not be good.
Sure. What do you think needs to happen before we draw out of Iraq?
There needs to be security. Al-Qaeda obviously needs to be decimated. But an overall, some level of security in the country and the government taking its own control. So.
And you said you're excited to go back. If you got the call, you wouldn't mind, right?
No, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. I'd
the end of the world.
be excited to go back.
So do you plan on re-enlisting after your term ends?
I don't know about that. That's kind of a while away.
Okay. Well, on behalf of EHC-TV, we want to thank you so very much for joining the Marines and defending our country and defending our freedoms. And thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot.